Good morning. So, got another walk and talk for you this morning. My last video, I talked about being intentional and trying to have a good decision-making process when it comes to your finances. And some of the follow-up conversations I had with some folks about that was, well, how do you do that, or how do you begin doing that? And so I thought I'd start that conversation by talking to you about a book that I'm reading right now that I really like. So I'm not giving you a homework assignment and saying, hey, you got to go read a book. But, you know, as they said when I was growing up, reading is fundamental, right? So at any rate, the book I'm reading right now is a book called or named Atomic Habits by a guy named James Clear. And it was in a list of books that I was recommended to read, so I grabbed it, not really knowing what to expect. And but I'm thinking about, okay, how can this help me as an advisor? How can it help clients? And I'm not finished with it, so I can only talk about what I've read so far. But I read a chapter yesterday, and he talked about something called implementation intentions, or intentional implementation. And basically the way that works is we live our lives by theme a lot, right? I want to be happy, or I want to make more money, or I want to do better with my money. That's a good one. I want to do better with my finances. But a lot of people haven't sat down and defined what better actually looks like for them, or what that would feel like. And so that's the first step, is figuring out what does better mean, and what does it mean to you. And then when it comes to forming a new habit, because we are the sum of our habits. So forming a new habit is, us being intentional about how we're going to do it. So for example, if we say, hey, I want to be better with my money, how are we going to be better with our money? Well, one way we can do that is say, hey, at the end of every month, the last day of the month, I will reconcile my finances by 5 p.m. That gives you an actual statement, your intentions, and it gives you a time that you're going to implement those intentions. Oh, this is going to be loud. I'm walking by the AC units here. So, yeah, the AC is running because it's hot, even if it's early in the morning here in the South. So, intentional implementation. That's number one. And the way I thought about it when I was reading that was, I've been a financial professional for just over 10 years now. And a lot of times when I meet people and I tell them what I do for a living, or what I do, they'll make a comment like, oh, I need to come talk to you. Or, oh man, my finances are a mess. I need to get myself in order. And well, that's why financial professionals exist, is to help you get yourself in order. But I think that in my 10 years, maybe one person that has made that comment to me is actually called. And that's okay. Maybe they found somebody else that they wanted to talk to, or that they wanted to see. Perfectly fine. The odds are they never acted on it. And the reason being is they don't have a habit, they don't have a system built. And so that's what I want to, encourage you to build a system and to be intentional. So first step would be, hey, I need to get a budget. I don't know what my budget is, or I need to create a budget for myself. Well, you need to set a date and a time and said, at this day, at this time, I'm making an appointment with myself to sit down and do a budget. And then it's at the end of every month, on the 30th, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to reconcile my budget for the month. And that begins to form a habit. And you have to do that. It's not sexy, folks. It's not something that we're going to hopefully, well, some people might, but most of us won't be, oh man, I get to do my budget. But it's the little tiny habits like that start to give you information and insight about yourself. That helps you learn about yourself, and it's going to help you in the long run make better financial decisions, right? So I'll give you one example. It doesn't have to do with finance, but the the principle is the same. So I started working with a personal trainer, and shout out to Matt Brady and his team, Body by Brady in Fort Mill. Matt's become a buddy of mine, and when we sat down, he's asking me all these questions that most, I'm sure, health professionals ask you. Well, tell me about your diet. What do you eat? What do you like to eat? All these things. You know, and I think I eat pretty healthy, but I've never really tracked it. Never really put a lot of time and effort into tracking what I eat. And he's like, well, that's gonna be the first thing that we do. We're gonna start tracking what you eat. So every day I began forming the habit. I was like, okay, as soon as I eat, I'm not gonna wait till the end of the day because I might forget a snack I had that day. But as soon as I eat, I'm going to input the data for what I just ate into my little app that I'm using. And I was astounded, absolutely astounded at some of the food that I was eating that was not that healthy. I might have thought it was healthy, but it wasn't that healthy. And so for you folks that are wondering sometimes, like, where does all my money go? Are you tracking your money? Or are you living your month, doing your expenses, and at the end of the month, you've got more month than you've got money, and you're wondering, where did all the money go? We've got to be intentional. Start being intentional. Create a habit where you reconcile your budget, because the habit is going to help show you where you might be able to save or do a little bit better. If you figure out where you could save or do a little bit better, then we might be able to start talking about long-term planning and investing, what you want your financial future to look like. So don't overlook the everyday small stuff, because it adds up in the long run. Have a great day.